Some of the most expensive mistakes throughout history can be attributed to a simple human error. More often than not, making a mistake doesn't matter all that much. It's fixable. But every once in a blue moon, a small, seemingly irrelevant mistake can have a ripple effect, leading to a real, costly disaster. From the accidental ignition of the Cerro Grande forest fire to the failed towing operation of an oil rig, here are 5 of the most expensive mistakes in history, Part 2. The East Coast of the United States is among one of the most serene places in the country to visit. This is especially true along Georgia's coast. The area of St. Simon Island is known mostly for its golf and luxurious beaches. Even something as simple as an afternoon drive along the coastline is enough to make a person feel at peace. But this area was also home to a massive shipwreck back in 2019 that could be seen from shore. This incident happened in September of 2019 when the ship, the MV Golden Ray, left the port of Brunswick, Georgia, with a cargo of around 4,200 vehicles on board. Shortly after leaving, though, the ship developed a severe list or tilt to the side. It became so bad that the ship ended up beaching itself just off the coast of St. Simon. Immediately, a rescue mission went underway by the United States Coast Guard to rescue the 4 remaining crew members who were trapped below deck. One day after the incident, the final crew members were rescued. Investigations were quickly launched into what could have caused the ship to tip over so suddenly. The captain was a seasoned professional, and it was ruled highly unlikely that an error on his part would have been a contributing factor. To this day, the exact cause is still unknown. However, it has been speculated that the ship listed and tipped over due to the improper loading of the vehicles. Improper weight distribution probably made the ship very top-heavy, leaving the captain helpless to control the huge vessel. Salvage operations were slow to start. In October of 2019, the ship was formally declared a total loss, and it was announced that it would be scrapped on site, cut into 8 sections, and towed away. The salvage work was done using a massive VB-10,000 heavy lift vessel, the largest ever built by the United States. It wasn't until November 2020 that the first cut was complete, and as of July 6, 2021, only 5 sections have been removed. As of the making of this video, this shipwreck can still be seen from shore. In the end, it ended up costing a total of $788 million, but I'm sure those costs are ongoing. There are few programs that have garnered awe and amazement like the NASA space programs. In the days of the Apollo missions, families all across the country and even around the world would gather around their television sets to watch and listen as people like Neil Armstrong took his first steps onto the moon. They even clamored to stay up to date with the Apollo 13 mission. Some years later, though, that same excitement was shown to another space flight, the launch of the Challenger space shuttle.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1, and liftoff. Liftoff of the 25th Space Shuttle mission, and it has cleared the tower.
The launch took place on a chilly morning in January of 1986. Typically, mornings in Florida are never very cold. However, in the few mornings leading up to the launch, it was cold enough for ice to form on the launch pad and over the shuttle. Unfortunately, no mind was paid to it, and the shuttle took off on January 28, 1986. Just 73 seconds into its launch, the rocket exploded, sending debris falling into the ocean below. Subsequent investigations were launched, and it was determined that the explosion was caused by a failure in the O-rings sealing a joint on the right solid rocket booster. The varying temperatures over that week had weakened the seal, allowing the pressurized hot gases and fuel to catch fire, eventually igniting the rest of the fuel. Along with the loss of life of everyone on board, The explosion cost an estimated $3.2 billion. This disaster is now used as a case study to better improve engineering safety and workplace ethics. Oil rigs are one of the most amazing feats of engineering seen on our oceans. These massive, partially submerged platforms can be placed anywhere in the water and extend its drills thousands of feet below the surface in search of oil. But in order to reach their destinations, the massive floating platforms need to be taken out to sea by tugboats and put in place. In 2017, a huge oil rig named Transocean Winner was being towed out from Stavanger, Norway to Valletta, Malta. It was a long journey that would take quite a bit of time and take them through some choppy waters. These weren't uncommon risks, but definitely ones to still stay aware of. However, while en route, the tugboats and the oil rig encountered some weather a bit more severe than expected just west of Hebrides. The effect of the wind on the Transocean Winner led to the loss of the ability to control the direction and speed of the tug. The winds pounded the platform, blowing it with such force that it dragged it backwards for over 24 hours. Eventually, with the tow lines weakened, it was at the mercy of the wind and tide. Soon it was pushed onto the rocky shores of the Outer Hebrides. Luckily, this accident didn't render the rig completely useless. After a short time, it was able to be recovered and repairs were able to be made. However, the repairs, along with the loss of work, cost the company at least 38 million British pounds. Orlando, Florida. It's the place where people go when they want to visit one of the best theme parks in the world. Tens of millions of people travel to Orlando each year to visit places such as Disney World, Universal Studios, and SeaWorld. Because of the popularity of these places, it's inspired a number of other park owners to start their own attractions within a short distance, hoping to catch some of the overflow. That is how the Splendid China Park came to be. However, things didn't exactly go as planned. Splendid Park was built in the city of Kissimmee, Florida, which is a suburb of Orlando just south of Disney World. It was built in 1993 to be an American replica of another Splendid China Park that still exists in Shenzhen, China. Within its property lines, visitors could see over 60 miniature replicas of famous Chinese locations. Some of the things to be seen in the park were a 1/10 scale model of the Great Wall of China, replicas of the terracotta warriors of Xi'an, and even a 4-story version of the Lishan Buddha statue. There was an incredible attention to detail in these various pieces, and it was really an incredible sight to see. However, the park only lasted for 10 years because its owners, which were actually an agency of the Chinese government, hadn't fully thought about what building a park in America would be like. From the beginning, many Floridians claimed that the park was meant to be nothing more than communist propaganda and largely stayed away. As the years went on, upper management constantly changed, each time coming up with new ideas to try and attract people to the park. They added more live shows, authentic Chinese cuisine, built new theaters, and more. All of it failed to attract more visitors. Finally, in 2003, Splendid China closed its doors for good, roughly 10 years after it opened. Today, the abandoned park is basically completely gone. Everything, including the land, was sold at auction. What originally cost over $100 million to build was eventually sold for less than half. The western part of the United States has always been known for being prone to forest fires. Low humidity, dry conditions, and strong winds are the perfect combinations for tens of thousands of acres to burn. It happens more often than many realize. In an effort to combat the various fires that ravage the western states, various park services and firefighters do controlled burns, which are intentional fires set to burn up any potential fuel that a rogue fire may have. These burns are usually done during low-risk weather conditions and do greatly help curb the spread of real wildfires. In May of 2000 in New Mexico, authorities decided to do a controlled burn on the summit of Cerro Grande. However, the planning was very poor as weather conditions were not favorable. Within 3 days, the burn was out of control, threatening surrounding communities. The town of Los Alamos took quite a bit of damage, with 235 homes being destroyed. The fire wasn't able to be extinguished until late July. Several diagrams show how quickly the fire spread between May 7, 2000 and May 19, 2000. Experts that investigated what happened all agreed that the conditions for doing a controlled burn were absolutely terrible. It was the worst time of year, as rainfall was always at its lowest and winds were always at their highest. They concluded that the odds of losing control of the burn under these conditions was extremely high. Luckily, though, there were no casualties, only property damage. It is believed that this terrible mistake burned over 43,000 acres and cost the local governments and economies around $1 billion. It is crazy to see how the slightest mistakes and miscalculations can lead to such incredible and costly disasters. From oil rigs and space shuttles to abandoned parks and controlled fires, there seems to be nothing that is completely foolproof. To see another video of ours just like this one, be sure to click the link on screen now. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.